hopping and a singing his song. All the little birds on Jaybird Street love to hear the robin go tweet, 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 rockin' robin, tweet.
We're not going to abandon the people of the Northeast Kingdom. There's no shortage of irony here. We in the Northeast Kingdom have been asked to serve as home of the state's only landfill, one that sits on one of the most beautiful lakes in our state. We've been asked to host a state prison. We were ravaged by JP developers. We are a region that bases its economy on agriculture. And like most agricultural regions, its residents face profound transportation challenges. We always have. The proposal being advanced to end the delivery of most primary care hospital services and to replace them with what is suggested in the report suggests that we in the kingdom ought to shoulder the burden of traveling hours, shuttling back and forth to remote medical centers to get our health care. Tell that to our retirees. Tell that to our moms and dads and children in need. Tell that to our employees and our business owners who have come to count on having our hospital located not in Burlington, not in Hanover, New Hampshire, but right here in the hub of our remote and isolated region, right in Newport, where it belongs. This is not about, please, inconvenience to our residents. It's far more than that. It's the delivery of our health care, rightly described as one of our basic human rights. So, if this is intended as part of Healthcare 3.0 in Vermont, we say, no thank you. Try again. If you want equity and fairness in the delivery of healthcare, this is a complete non-starter. Before becoming mayor, I served for 6 years in the legislature. Having worked within the halls and committee rooms of the State House, I know what gets done with these consultant reports. They are used to support all kinds of perverse outcomes by legislators who may want to advance their own agendas and regional interests. After all, they say, we paid a lot of money for the study. After all, the experts are telling us what we need to do. Or even worse, we did a survey and this is what the people want. Well, this is a particular concern when we suffer here in Vermont a legislative supermajority where a handful of political party types from our larger communities get to dictate public policy just by saying so. So my concern is not so much for the out-and-out closure of the hospital, but it's about the work behind the scenes over the next few years in the committee rooms of our State House, at the Agency of Human Service and the Green Mountain Care Board. We are telling our friends here in Vermont that we need to be part of this. You cannot just go ahead and make idle decisions because it's the easy way to go. What we want to say is, we're watching, we will stay involved, and you can count on accountability at the ballot box if you get this wrong. Personally, my plan as the mayor of Newport is to attend and, as appropriate, testify at committee meetings of the principal healthcare committees in the House and Senate. I intend to attend meetings of the Green Mountain Care Board and to request time to testify there too, if appropriate. And when I can, I will be asking for time with the governor and members of his administration to advance our case. And my hope is that the CEO, Tom Frank, will be joining me in many of these meetings. We need help from our community in delivering our message. So there are many ways to do that, through calls, letters, emails, even attendance at committee meetings. Ask to testify, buttonhole your legislator. Our city legislators are strong and powerful, and they are behind keeping this hospital open. We need to help them They are a smaller voice than because we have a supermajority. So we need to stand behind our legislators as well. The Green Mountain Care Board is going to work with everybody, so is the administration. Their intent is to do the right thing. We need to let them hear our voice. So please, it works. So this is not a time for complacency, but is actually a time for action.
Our constituents and the professionals in our community are reaching out to us. I grow concerned and do not appreciate when our residents become alarmed due to news.
Can't hear.
Let me try that. I grow concerned and do not appreciate when our residents become alarmed due to news that is released to us in a particular way that is broken, incomplete, and inaccurate. I know that people are worried. Look at all the doctors and nurses who spoke passionately about this report and the recommendations and how they would compromise their ability to deliver the sort of world-class patient care that we are proud of. CEO Tom Frank and other professionals have made their statements loud and clear. They, among others, are the ones that know the faces of our residents. They are the ones that know firsthand the needs of our communities. There are those in Montpelier that suggest that we put a damper on what they consider to be overcharged rhetoric. They'd rather not be here today to look us in the eye to tell us the truth. Why is that? In my experience, community activism brings accountability for our public officials. Accountability is a heavy word, and it should be for those who represent us. We know that our Newport legislators are fighting for us, and together, we are going to give these folks a good dose of accountability. We will watch, we will listen, and we will be loud when we need to be. This isn't just going to slide by everyone. We owe better for our children and loved ones. We are the legislative body of the city of Newport, and we have our communities back. We are announcing here today that in anticipation of this coming legislative session, as your Newport City Council President, along with the mayor and my fellow council members, that we intend to form a citizen group to help coordinate the delivery of information and to sit in committee rooms to monitor the work of our lawmakers. This isn't a hospital initiative. It's being done by our constituents who are alarmed by the reckless delivery of an inaccurate report, one that's been dropped on our community without warning or forethought, and how these recommendations would affect our city and our communities. And what is the purpose of this initiative? As said before, we will watch, we will listen, and we will be very loud when we need to be. We look forward to hearing from our mayor as she continues to participate in conversations with the Agency of Human Resources, legislators, and Green Mountain Care Board members, as well as healthcare providers and hospitals in our constituency, to seriously address the issues regarding feasibility, impact, and financial implications of the recommendations that will make sense for our Vermont communities and our residents of the Northeast Kingdom.
That was President of City Council in Newport, Chris Vachon.
Thank you for coming. My name is
Really loud.
My name is Clark Curtis, Newport City Council member. I'd like to speak to some points that the mayor has touched upon.
Can't hear you. Louder. Put it closer to you.
I'm going to start over.
Yes,
Good morning.
that's it.
I am Newport City Council member Clark Curtis, and I would like to speak to some points that the mayor has touched upon, like our legislators and the Agency of Human Services, to understand what it would mean for Newport and the surrounding area if, as a report recommended, the hospital converts all its inpatient beds to mental health, geriatric, psychiatry, and memory care, and stop doing some different surgeries. That would clearly mean the hospital is, for all intents and purposes, closed. You may have heard CEO Tom Frank and professionals from the hospital in press releases and at a community forum and in letters to the mayor and other leaders. I live near North Country High School and a little further from the city elementary school, but I see caravans of cars filled with children and parents. We can easily drive and walk to the football games, and even as a council member serving in an official capacity, I come in contact with so many elements of our school system. We have in so many ways a vibrant and young community with children. The folks in Montpelier don't care enough for the NEK that it would effectively shut down the hospital, force seniors to travel hours for care, and just shrug, "Too bad, so sad, my friends, but money talks." Health is a basic human right. While not where I decided to settle down, I've lived here my whole life, and I will stay here through my retirement years. North Country Hospital, as stated by CEO Tom Frank, made it clear in their year 25 budget presentation to the Green Mountain Care Board that the hospital is the only critical access hospital in Vermont that meets all federal requirements to be considered critical access. According to the CEO, the report and recommendations do not take our remote and rural geographic location into consideration. Many in our community do not have their own transportation, and there is a severe lack of infrastructure and public transportation through the region. As the most rural hospital in the state with the most economically disadvantaged population, Act 167 clearly states access and healthcare equity need to be taken into consideration. However, in the report, their access and healthcare equity does not come into play. As the mayor indicated, this is merely a consultant's report and not an expert's report. This should only be taken as an opening up for conversations. It should be taken only as an opening up for more conversations. With the mayor and the council, we intend to be visible and we intend to be strong. Our community is the top priority to us, and we understand that the Green Mountain Care Board regulates the rates on the hospitals, and we are totally respectful of the sensitivity around these discussions. However, we cannot tiptoe around when it comes to the even remote possibility that our financial, capable gem of a hospital that is the largest employer in our service area of Orleans and northern Essex County, with more than 600 employees and an estimated $61 million being poured back into the local economy annually. It's getting an inappropriate message sent to our community. North Country Hospital is strong. It is a viable organization that focuses on taking care of our patients and our community. So along with our local legislators, our mayor, and my fellow council members, and our community, I'm almost done. Yes, our community will take care of its own, and we will take care of North Country Hospital and make sure that it doesn't go anywhere. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Tom Frank, and I am the CEO at North Country Hospital. My family has had a home in that community since 1971. We are embedded and ingrained in that community, and you can see and have heard how important our hospital is to our community. The Northeast Kingdom is a very unique area. It's very unique from the rest of the state. There are 2,000 square miles that make up the Northeast Kingdom. That's 21% of the total landmass in the state of Vermont. Folks travel over an hour just to reach our hospital from within the Northeast Kingdom. The thought of our hospital going away and making those folks travel even greater distances, it's very simple. They will not seek care. This is an equity issue within the state of Vermont. We continually hear how important healthcare equity is for our state of Vermont, but this report completely ignores that. You've heard from the folks here at the table, and you've heard from me. We have the oldest population in Orleans County and the second oldest state in the country. We have the sickest population. We have the most economically challenged people who live in our community, who need care. There's been talk through the report that we are in financial distress. That is not an accurate statement. Our hospital is one of the strongest financially sound institutions in the state due to the great work of the people who've lived in the Northeast Kingdom. Okay, we're true Yankees. Okay, we only spend when we have to, not because we want to. This report does not take anything into consideration outside of an opportunity to close and pick on, I would say, the Northeast Kingdom of Vermont. It's already been heard about the industrial wind projects, the landfill, the prison. Out of sight, out of mind, I don't think so. You can see here today the community members who've turned out for this. If you saw our community forum last Thursday, the voices are being heard, guys. This report has gone too far. It has gone too far for the folks in the Northeast Kingdom, and we can't tolerate that. I've had the opportunity to meet with so many people in the state, from legislators to administrators, and there isn't one person who won't look me in the eye and say, it might have been a mistake for North Country Hospital. However, as I said before, the horse is out of the barn. We have to continue to be heard. I will assure you that we will continue to press the appropriate facts and present those to make sure that our hospital goes nowhere, because I will tell you, as I sit here today, and I've said it before, North Country is not changing. North Country is not going away. It's too important to our community. It's too important to our residents. So thank you very much for listening to me today, and I'm always happy to talk to the press or anyone that will listen to me. And thank you guys very much.
And that was President Thomas Frank, North Country Hospital President and CEO.
So I want to thank usually I don't need a microphone. I want to thank everybody for coming out and hearing our community speak, because that's what's happening here. It is our community who is speaking to the state of Vermont. And we trust the state of Vermont, and we trust the administration, and we trust the legislators. But sometimes we have to join in and make sure that the path is the right path that's being taken. Thank you.
And there's no lack of press here. We've got WCAX to my left and WPTZ to my right. I'm sure we have Miss Pitts over there from the Barton Chronicle.
Okay. I have a question.
Newport Daily. Take that out, Kelby.
Yeah, so you referred to
Miss Pitts from the Newport Daily.
Industrial complex. I understand what you're saying. I'm wondering if you can expand on that a little bit in context of the report, which I will say was not very kind to UVM at all. In fact, I think the message was, you're way too expensive, you're way too inefficient, and you need to fix that and hire outside help. So why do you think that this is a shill for UVM?
Yeah, so your question is correct. The report was not kind to very many of the hospitals. However, there was not a directive that said, let's close UVM and let's change them, when in fact the numbers, et cetera, that were provided by our hospital were inaccurate. So you can't just give directives like that. And I want to be very clear. This is just a consultant's report. And as somebody who is a troubleshooting turnaround specialist, unless you're in a court of law where it's a battle of the experts, there's no declaration of who the expert is here, because it's just a self-serving report. And so when I say that, I say there's a competition. It's a turf war of which hospital is going to get the better deal. And so I say don't rely on that report. Move that report out. Sit down and do it properly. And you need all the right people at the table.
Can I make a comment about UVM? So one thing I do want to say about the University of Vermont Medical Center, we need UVM. We need a strong UVM. Our patients need to have a tertiary care center in the state of Vermont. So there's no one up here that's not going to support the University of Vermont. And I agree, what was done in the consultant's report or recommended, we're already feeling it. They're going to have to pull back on services, whether we like that or not, which puts more strain on small community hospitals like North Country. So we are in full support of the University of Vermont Medical Center. I just want everyone to recognize that. This isn't a competition. It's really about working what's best for the citizens of Vermont and the Northeast Kingdom.
And then Tom, I've talked to a lot of the same people that you've been talking to in the last week who are kind of saying the same thing, that maybe North Country was a bit of a mistake here, but we're still here today. I mean, what do you need to hear to quell your fears that you're not going to be forced to make this decision?
The question was, what do you need to hear?
That's the problem. I don't believe that the folks in the state can come out and just say that, because I think from a political perspective, it wouldn't be a good look. What we would need is a statement from AHS that would say, yes, the report was an error with respect at least to North Country Hospital. And I'm not saying that the other hospitals who are in the report with the expectations they close, I'm not so sure that was accurate either. You know, whenever you have a report, in my opinion, that recommends reducing direct patient access and care and increasing administration for the Green Mountain Care Board and AHS is fundamentally flawed.
May I add something to that? So I think when you say, what do we need to hear? I agree with Tom Frank. We need somebody to turn around and say that this message that we sent out, however it was delivered, prematurely or not, or maybe it was sent out without being vetted one time again or having more conversations, has already driven what's going to happen. And so how do you pull that back? How do you, as alleged administrators, legislators, pull that back and save face? Well, this is more than saving face. It's about saving lives. So there has to be a message, but the message that's been sent has already harmed not only our city, other areas that have these other hospitals that had directives be put in this report, but the people of Vermont who rely on health services and need to have those services. So it's a difficult pullback. So I think we need to throw that report out and we need to sit down with the powers that be, and we really need to look at how do we fix the health care here. And it's not going to happen in 1 year or 2 years, but we need to have some serious conversations.
Good day. Thank you very much,
Thank
everyone.
you all. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And I'm here with two students and all of their peers from the Newport High School, and they are in the LNA program. What is your name?
I'm Melissa Carrier. I'm Charlie Royer.
And what do you have to say about keeping our hospital in Newport?
We just think it's really important to keep our hospital. I mean, if the hospital closed, the closest ER would be 40 minutes away in St. Jay, and that could just cause a lot of issues for our community. Plus, our program uses the hospital for clinical rotations, and it would really cause some issues for us.
I think the hospital is a really good resource for our community. I think it's going to be really difficult for especially the elderly people finding their resources and having the hospital close to their home. It's going to be difficult for them. And you have to travel really far away.
And a lot of us don't drive.
Yep.
So you have family, multiple generations of family, Roya and Carrier, in our community. So what are your families saying about this?
I haven't really heard anything from them, but I know my parents are a little upset about it, of course, because it's just going to be difficult for, especially my grandparents, when they need their regular shots up at the hospital. They're going to have to travel 45 minutes.
Well, we aren't going to lose our hospital, but it's great to have you youthful people here to protect it and to protect our programs. And you'll be needing them someday yourselves. And you'll be helping us in the meantime as medical people. So bless your hearts, and thank you so much for talking to me.
Absolutely, thank you.
You're welcome, thank you. That is one of the signs.
I can't get a close-up of the sign.
We have a lot of fun with these kids here, and they're all North Country kids. What can I say? We're so lucky to have them, and they're going to be the growing up part of our community eventually. But they're doing a good job now. Love you all. Clark Curtis, one of our city council members, a very hard-working young man. What is so important about your being here today in Montpelier?
to support North Country Hospital and all of its efforts to provide great medical care to the community, not just Newport, but the surrounding areas as well.
And how about the employment situation? What would happen to Newport if we lost the hospital?
It would be economically destroyed. The hospital employs over 600 people, and a lot of that money, about $60 million, is returned back into the economy, and it would be completely devastated.
Well, you're going to fight hard, and that's why you're our city councilor. And you do for all the other things too, so thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Bye, Clark. Mr. Marcus Vogt, another very good citizen of the Northeast Kingdom, and you have some things to say about the maintenance of our hospital and why it's so valuable to us. What would they be?
Well, I look at our hospital primarily through the eyes of somebody who's involved in elder care. I take care or help take care of a 99-year-old and a 101-year-old resident, and they really rely on the hospital for their well-being, and I could not imagine how it would be for them to just not have that resource available.
Well, Dankeschön.
What's that?
Dankeschön.
Oh, bitteschön.
And I really appreciate your opinion and your energy to come here to Montpelier today.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a good way to just show support for the hospital and for all the people who do all this incredible work to keep our community healthy.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And now we have Susan Agatha Davis, an attorney, a writer, a poet, and a citizen of the Northeast Kingdom. So, yes, you may be retired, but that doesn't mean you've lost any of your acumen or your knowledge. So with all of that vocabulary, what do you say about the possible, well, about Act 167 itself? There's a few of us
about the possibility of closing?
Well, Act 167, what did you think of the outcome by that particular individual who...
Okay, I'm having trouble hearing you over all the noise.
Okay.
One of the things I noticed, I made a lot of notes. One of the things I noticed is that the staff, they have about 625 people who work there. And between salaries and benefits, they bring in $61 million. Most of that is spent in the area. So if they leave, that really strips the backbone of the economy out of the area. And that's one of my big concerns. The other one is just trying to get anywhere. You know, going over Sheffield Heights or driving to Morrisville is ridiculous in the winter, middle of the night, bad roads. It's a real problem. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. And I know that they've been saying, well, we're just going to move a little bit of things or a little bit here, a little bit there.
And you drive it.
But they will eventually gut us.
Yeah, but the problem is it's an erosion, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's a death by 1,000 cuts. Mm-hmm. So at a certain point, you've moved enough stuff away that the revenue coming in is not enough to offset the cost of maintaining the brick and mortar structure. So you have to stop it before it gets to that.
Yes, I agree with you 100%, and I'm so glad you're here today in Montpelier at the press conference, and wherever you are, I'm glad you are, because you've got a real opinion and a great intellect. So keep talking, keep writing, keep doing everything you do. Thanks so much, Mrs. Davis.
My pleasure.
We have Miss Beth Barnes here at Montpelier, where we are at the state capitol, under the dome. And, you know, it's the most amazing thing, Beth. When you were our mayor for just a short period of time, but when you stepped back, you became stronger. And you are such an advocate for all good things in Newport and the Northeast Kingdom. So the fact that you organized this entire trip to Montpelier for so many people and this press conference, it doesn't surprise me, but it still blows me away.
Thanks, Heather. But as you know, since you were an integral part of it, it was a team effort. You know, it sounds kind of trite, but it is. It takes a village, and today took a village. I do admit that I did a lot of the schlepping, but I had a lot of support from a lot of people, and here we are.
Mm-hmm. And what will you be saying today at the press conference, if anything?
I will not be saying anything. I am explaining my role as the roadie. I set everything up and planned everything, and then I'm going to hand it over to Mayor Sullivan.
Okay, so what is your opinion of this, and what did you think of Act 167 report when it came out?
I think that we need to get together and we need to block the findings of that report because we need our hospital. Many of us sleep well at night knowing that our hospital is right there in our own community, and if they took that away from us, I shudder to think what would happen.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Thank you for being here, Heather. It's always nice to see you behind the camera.
Yes, it's much better than seeing me in front of a camera, I must admit.
And thank you for being the point person on the bus. I couldn't have done it without you.
Well, you know, bus monitor. I'm back to 7th grade. Hooray, I love it. And I must say, the North Country kids, there's 31 beautiful North Country children on the bus. They are so well behaved, so smart, so forward thinking, so fantastic.
A real credit.
It makes me want to go back to school.
Yep. A real credit to the Career Center and to our community.
Yeah, and Dr. Kathy Gray is their tour leader, as you might say, because she's their phenomenally educated teacher.
They're part of the village.
And I'm just so glad. Thanks for putting us together. I will see you soon.
Thanks, Heather.
Bye.
Everybody, it's me, Heather. This is sort of a strange Life is Good television show because it's mostly the press conference with Mayor Sullivan. It was fantastic. And Tom Frank from the hospital CEO and our city council members and all of the community from Newport who came here today, including Miss Sarah.
Hi.
Now, Sarah has 2 autistic children.
3.
3 autistic children. Who's counting? Well, they are.
Yes.
And how do you get all your services right now?
Through the hospital. So with early intervention, they currently do not have speech, occupational therapy, or physical therapy through early intervention, so I get them through the hospital. So I bring my kids to the hospital for early intervention, and through the elementary school and early education, they contract out some services through the hospital as well. So when talking about the children, I think it's very important to know that the hospital provides a lot of these therapies that the children need in the schools and in early intervention.
If there was no hospital, where would you have to go?
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Did you move to Newport recently, or have you always been here?
I've been here the last 4 years.
So how old are your children?
5 and 2-year-old twins that are about to be 3.
That's nice. Happy birthday to them.
Thank you.
Are they severely autistic, or
I felt it.
on the
Their development keeps progressing, and I'm very happy to see their gains that they're making and the progress that they're making, and I'm very proud of all of them, and I definitely wouldn't be able to do this without the help and support of the hospital.
I wish you luck.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It was very nice to meet you.
Nice. And, you know, I'll tell you something about the wonderful autistic people with whom I've been involved. Brilliant. And they come, there's such a large, vast, what do they call it, spectrum from the very high achieving to the people who are having a tougher time. And in my generation, there weren't any of these services at all. So my friends who are autistic at my age haven't progressed to their maximum because there was nothing earlier. Is open for public care and wonderful children.
How are you? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Welcome back. Here we are back with Life is Good. But who do I have with me today but Penny Thomas here at the State House talking about why it's important to nullify Act 167 report and move forward with a collaborative effort to get better information about our hospital. What do you have to say about that, Penny?
Well, first of all, I'm in my mid-70s, and I bought a home in Newport about 10 years ago specifically to be close to the hospital. And I know I'm not alone in that. And I use North Country Hospital regularly, and I like North Country Hospital. I think it's very unfair that an outside consultant has written a report to tell us we can't have our hospital, and based it on faulty data. And I think that we can come together as a community and be more accurate on what the real picture is and look at how we can cooperate as a healthcare system statewide, potentially. I know there are problems, but I think downsizing our hospital when we are like 20% of the area of Vermont with a population that is absolutely reliant on local health care. So I'm here to show up and be counted and be present to stand up for our community and our hospital.
Thank you, Penny.
My pleasure.
Oh, this is so good. Okay. And I'm not not too far off of your age, and I've been in the hospital many times, and let me just tell you, I was bitten by a dog. The hospital saved my life when the total body infection set in. I would have died. And I tripped over a wire that was across the sidewalk. Somebody put it there to measure traffic. Well, it was 4 inches above the sidewalk. I did a header. I ended up in the hospital, all bruised here. And other times, I was rear-ended by a car. I plowed into the car in front of me, and the car behind me, my car was bent in two. I was in the hospital, and this is all in the last few years. I'm number one, I'm a magnet, I'm a total spaz, and I'm accident prone. So if I didn't have that hospital,
we foster kids.
you wouldn't be seeing me anymore. And I don't know if you miss me, but I'd miss you. So keep our hospital. Thank you, Betty.
My pleasure.
We have Julia Frone. She's a student at North Country High School and is going to be
an ultrasound technician or an occupational therapist, depending on which way I go.
What causes you to want to be in these professions?
I think the ultrasound, you work with sound waves, and I find that really fascinating, how you can use the sound waves to see like inside of people and figure out the problems through that. And then occupational therapy, I really like the idea of being creative and working with a patient and forming that kind of patient-provider relationship with them to help them be able to live their best lives.
You're only 16.
Yep.
Only 16, and because of our hospital has the opportunity to be exposed to both of these professions and hands-on.
Yep. I've shadowed occupational therapy already, and that was a really good experience for me, so I really
You must be getting good grades.
I hope so.
High five to you. Anyway, when will you graduate?
I'm class of 2026.
So we're in 2024 right now.
Yep,
so you've got 2 years. And will you be spending more time at the hospital over the next 2 years?
That's what I'm hoping, definitely, yeah.
Oh,
yep.
That's so great. How many hours a day?
I have no idea, honestly. I'm not quite sure. And because the time I was there, I know what time I have to leave, so I don't miss the bus, but it just kind of flies by because it's really fascinating. So.
If you love what you do, and you will, you'll be good at it, and your life will be a blur because you'll be having so much fun, and you'll never feel like you're working.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm really needing this hospital to carry on for these young people because if they can't do it, they're our future, for heaven's sakes. So Act 167, the report in itself was erroneous. The report was based on generic information gathered from all over the country, which doesn't apply to our culture. They don't know us, do they?
No, they don't.
If that man, who, not to be sexist, but I believe it was a man, if he comes back and gets to know us, come and stay at my house for a couple of months, well, maybe a week or two, and we'll introduce you to what we do around here, how we live, how we treat each other. It's a very special place in the Northeast Kingdom. We help each other, we barter, we have all kinds of wonderful relationships with nature and with each other. But we can't do it all on our own. We need that hospital to pull us together, right?
Yep.
You're an amazing girl.
We need to understand that Big Pharma could be behind this.
Yes, well, we'll get into that in another show with Leslie. Anyway, thank you, Julia.
Thank you so much.
I wish you luck, and I believe we have more students to come and talk to us. Send over your friends, my love, okay?
Okay,
so, Mark's kind of a famous person around the area.
No, I'm not famous.
Well,
I've just lived here for a long time.
From Montreal, as am I, but you have great roots in Northeast Kingdom.
I do for the last 25 years.
25 years.
Lived in Canada and came here because I wanted to with my late husband. And love Newport, love the surrounding area, and I'm a huge fan of the hospital. Huge. I don't know that I could live there if the hospital wasn't there for me.
I don't think I could either.
No, I couldn't.
Because for many other reasons, but like I say, I've been in the hospital 6 times since I've lived here. I've lived here 6 years next month because I'm the ultimate spaz. What's your excuse?
I've needed orthopedic surgery several times.
Do not ask this woman to arm wrestle. Because we've got to the shoulders.
Because the doctor was so good that I have full use of my arm.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's a terrific hospital.
When
the care is wonderful.
That's what I was going to bring up. You and I are about the same age, and when we are being cared for, we look for a different bedside manner. We don't look for something rushed and something cold.
Yep. No, people are caring, and I think that they're really professional. I think there's some phenomenal doctors there.
Phenomenal doctors.
Really. And As I say, I could not continue to live where I do if that hospital didn't have all of the services that it now provides, including physical therapy, including occupational therapy, including, in fact, I wish it had more.
Yeah.
You know, some of the services it used to have, like ophthalmology,
Ophthalmology
are no
has been
longer
taken
there.
out, yeah.
Dermatology. So I have to go a distance, and I won't drive that distance, so I have to hire somebody to take me when I need to go to Burlington.
And you've seen me drive. I'm just going to die at home because it's safer than dying on the road. But we're also part of the tax base here.
That's true.
And without us living there, paying our taxes, even as they rise 15%, if they didn't have us paying the taxes because we couldn't stay there, the Northeast Kingdom would suffer that way too. By necessity, we have to move.
For sure.
And imagine that, folks. You just can't. So Act 167, what do you have an opinion on that?
Act 167?
Yes. Just give us, just look straight at the camera and tell us
give
what
us
you
the
really
care
think.
we're supposed to have. We're in a completely disadvantaged area, way up, away from everybody else, and we deserve proper care. And that means keeping the hospital, letting it grow, never mind diminishing, letting it grow.
There's nothing wrong with growth and evolution. And I think together that can be done. So thanks, Izzo.
Thank you.
I love you. Never put $2 Montrealers in front of a camera. Thank you for watching Life is Good. I think that might be the end of the show, but it's not the end of the hospital. When a person who's unfamiliar with our culture, it's a specific culture in the Northeast Kingdom. We are independent, we're autonomous. None of us that I know are wealthy. We want to keep our young people, and young people are leaving Vermont left, right, and center, but if we can keep them working in our hospital, that's another way to keep our young people here. Whoever did this report, like I said earlier in the show, he drew his information generically from all over the country in order to come and put it on a piece of paper saying, this will apply universally to the hospitals in Vermont. He doesn't know our needs. He doesn't know our lack of transportation. He doesn't know our demographic. He doesn't know our innate need for something close by because we just can't go anywhere. It's just not able. We're just not able. So keep fighting, keep writing, keep talking. Linda Joy Sullivan and our city council members and Tom Franks, the head of the hospital, incredible individuals and strong, but they'll need us behind them all the way. So thanks for watching Life is Good. Jenna Sladkey is my videographer.
Hello.
And Jenna's in back of the camera, and she's so great. And Jenna, thank you. And Kelby will be editing this. And NEK-TV is another wonderful thing we have in Newport in the Northeast Kingdom. And we try and bring you all that we can with a lot of love. So thanks for watching Life is Good. Mwah. See you later.